And good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to today's episode of Law, News, and Laughter. Just double checking, because let's face it, we know what my boomerisms are like. Yes, I have my audio going out. Yes, we're going out on YouTube. Yes, we're going out on Rumble. The only thing that's going to annoy me is that camera is slightly off center. But how are we all doing, people? I can see people filtering in through the chat. Achiro is here, as is Tina Reynolds. Hello. Jason got the 5-minute locals notice, which is good, because that's when I sent it out. Where are I? Leighton Gay? Yes, brought to you by Leighton Gay Lawyers, soon to be a sponsor of the show. Seriously? Just Cause, good to see you. Thank you very much for dropping by. Ashley Casey, hello to you too. Drone, I did get your message. Sorry, I haven't had the chance to respond to it. Not quite sure how to respond, but as soon as I have some sort of answer, I'll hit you up in a DM. Neo Dark Matter, good to see you. Boosh is in the house, hello. Lynn Barry, good night, we'll replay, have a good one. No worries, Lynn, thanks for being here, appreciate it. Yes, Doggo Tail. She's getting stuck into it just because she can, she's being a little bit annoying. Angel Wolf 23, hello, how are you? Good to see you. Where are we? Now, over on Rumble, Neo Dark Matter saying hello, there's 11 people watching. Guys, I know I've yet to provide you with any form of entertainment or any form of value, but if you know me, you know that it's worth it. So hit that like button for me, double check whether or not you're still subscribed, and let's get stuck into it. Wait, what? We had a chill factor of 12 degrees this morning in South Texas. Damn! The last couple of days have been a bit of a whirlwind for me, I'll be perfectly honest. First day back in the office on Monday, so there was no Sunday show. Second day back in the office, the same matter that sort of took my attention on Monday, had me pulling my hair out. But that also ate up all of my day, so there was also no Monday show. Today is Wednesday morning for me, which means you guys are getting a Tuesday show. I'm hoping to be able to keep it that way. I'm unsure whether or not there will be a Thursday show as of yet, because I do have to travel to the new office, to my regional office, and I'm not sure how that's going to play with the new time slot. So whether or not that means that a Thursday show is done early, or if it's something that I can pre-record or something, I have yet to work that out. Had a dusting of snow in Austin. They said it couldn't snow in Austin. Honestly, shit's going sideways weather-wise all over the place. Damn it, I'm trying to cut back on the swearing to keep YouTube happy. We'll see how badly I fail at that. So Sunday, Monday for us were relatively hot, shall we say. Yesterday I was sweltering. I had the aircon on full blast. I had, shut up, Robert. It was -7 at 5 AM with wind chill, making it feel like -26. Your vehicle barely started. Shit. What was I going to say? Don't need to keep YouTube happy. YouTube is asshole. Well, given the fact that this channel really should be significantly larger than it is, I can only come to the conclusion that either my content is absolute shite, and I'm catering to the 21 of you that are watching on YouTube at the moment, and the 12 of you watching on Rumble. But, you know, I like to think that I'm a little bit worth it. So the only thing that I can come to is that it is the swearing and occasionally the topics that I discuss. Now, given the topics, I can't really change the subject matter because that really changes on a day-to-day basis based on the news. But we'll see. I'm hoping to do a little bit more of a, I'm hoping to do more, like, weekly videos on actual legal topics, do some in-depth analysis, that sort of thing. Make it look like I'm an actual lawyer. But what I was trying to say is, yesterday was just ridiculously hot, and now all of a sudden, Melbourne, as it does, is self-regulated, and it's raining. So, I'm actually not doing too badly. Had a little rain coming next week. That's what I said. That's what they said. I doubt it. Okay, interesting. Good thing someone used executive action to shut down all coal-fired power plants and replace them with useless windmills that froze. The windmills froze? Huh. Leading to several deaths. Lovely. Alright, let's get stuck into it, shall we? Things I will not be talking about today. The Australian government is set to give a $320 billion handout to the rich when the Stage 3 tax cuts come into force in July. For those earning over $200,000, the tax rate will drop from 37% of their income over a certain percentage down to a flat rate of 30%, which will also impact anyone earning over the $45,000 mark. So they get a 2% tax cut. The rich get a 7.5% tax cut. Because, screw the middle class. Joseph Fritzl, the man who locked up his daughter for 24 years and bonked her to the point where they had 7 kids, is going to be eligible for parole this year, and is apparently going to be released as he's not expected to pose a risk to the public in the future. But will he pose a risk to his daughter in the future? Like, I'm a little bit concerned about that. 30% is still insane. Yes, it is. Well, maybe you need an I Am Knuff shirt or something? I doubt it. The left is complaining that conservative politicians here in Australia are buying ads online promoting Australia Day because it's okay for the left to buy ad space for elections and for all sorts of crap. Well, I have a hair just sitting right there that's just annoying the hell out of me. It's okay for the left to be buying ads to promote whatever causes they like, but, apparently National Pride and Australia Day is not something that can be celebrated. Finally, Chinese researchers have cloned a rhesus monkey in the effort of medical research and genetic testing, because apparently having identical genetics means that you have a base control and something to compare it to when you inject something horrible into the monkey. Look, it's still better than them experimenting on kids, I guess. Things that we will be talking about today: a naked man has been charged with burglary after breaking into a house. A woman whose mugshot went viral is giving out the secrets to her glamorous looks. A lawyer in the Murdoch trial has claimed that the new judge pees in every corner of the courtroom, metaphorically of course, but he's in no way biased, given that the judge ruled against him in an earlier matter that is completely unrelated. And let's not forget, he's the guy representing the jurors, who apparently are going to back Becky Hill. He shouldn't even be in this hearing, and the fact that he was complaining that he wasn't going to be and that he was making comments about the judge sort of make it obvious that he shouldn't be there. But anyway, finally we're going to talk about the legend of Bum Farto, the Key West fire chief turned drug dealer who up and vanished. That's right, people. It's all about things that you shouldn't eat today. Because there's also a woman that's died from eating tiramisu. Vegan tiramisu because she had a milk allergy. Go figure. Anyway, let's get stuck into it. Welcome to today's episode of Law, News, and Laughter. Oi, 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 oi. Okay, finally just putting up the grifting banner. We are $50 away from dog butt cam and $150 away from open phone lines. So let's get stuck into it. I went viral for my hot mugshot. Here's the secret behind my glamorous look. Glamorous. I think probably people are equating the mole to a beauty spot, and maybe, just maybe, she's up herself a little bit. Amateur iconoclast, hello. She's criminally good looking. A Virginia woman who set the internet on fire with her sizzling mugshot is sharing the secrets behind her glamorous look. Give me a second. Just need some Aussie overfuel. That's better. Let's try this again. A Virginia woman who set the internet on fire with her sizzling mugshot is sharing the secrets behind her glamorous look. Veronica Koval, 27, was charged with reckless driving last May after she was pulled over for doing a 99 in a 55 zone. Hello, Michelle. The registered nurse pled... She's a nurse, okay? The registered nurse pled guilty to the misdemeanor and subsequently spent a night in the slammer. She was also slapped with a $750 fine and had her driver's license suspended for 30 days. She thought the ordeal was behind her until a photo snapped shortly after her arrest was posted to Mugshots, an Instagram account featuring aesthetic arrestees. Internet on fire, this is the first I'm hearing about it. Must have been a tiny fire. Crotch fire. Crabs. I mean, look, she's not unattractive. Is she going to feature in a few, what do you call it, patients' fantasies? Maybe. She's still a 15 to me. Don't know if I'd hit it or not. So, speaking to the Post on Tuesday, the smirking stunner said that she is shocked by all the attention, insisting she is a very average person. Still, she was more than happy to spill her beauty secrets, saying she's a big fan of injectables. Who's shocked? I'm a Botox and a filler girl, the lead-footed beauty said. I will 100% tell you that I got Botox done a couple of times a year. She does medical-grade skincare, gets laser facials, and swears by her Virginia hairstylist, Sadie Perlman. That's an interesting plug for the hairstylist, okay. She's the only girl I will ever let touch my hair. However, the brunette keeps things low-key when it comes to makeup, admitting she's a fan of reasonably priced products. Oh, bullshit. Are you... Hang on, let me get the timing on this. Are you kidding me? That look is smoldering. Boosh, you have low standards, dude. I'm a Target girl. I'm balling on a budget, she told the Post. I'm not out here making millions and millions of dollars. I do a little bit of the L'Oreal skin tint and Dr. Jart to help with any redness. That's what I throw on my face every day. Koval completes her look with a little bit of blush and some mascara. And in most cases, an Instagram filter, because I call bullshit. And yet, you can see the foundation and stuff. Like, there's a line where she reaches there. Like, that's, you know, I can see that maybe it's a wrinkle or whatever along the curvature of her neck. But there's a distinct difference between her throat and the facial. Indeed, she has no shortage of suited... indeed, she has no shortage of interested suitors, with many now sliding into her Instagram DMs in the wake of her mugshot. Because who doesn't like a bad girl? Koval told the Post that most people who have contacted her have been kind. She said it was certainly a lesson learned about speeding. Hey, Guy fan. I don't do much. List 74 things in several yearly operations. Pretty much. Wonder if she gets the saline injections in her tits. I definitely made a mistake. I don't condone it, and I will never speed again. Oh, bullshit. She sounds self-absorbed. A little bit. I'm sorry. If you're doing 99 in a 55 zone, you can't tell me you have never sped and that you are never going to again. I'm sorry. I call BS on that. Oh, got a raid coming in. Lovely, thank you. After spending a night in jail, she said she accepted the judge's decision. I'm very respectful of the authorities. I wasn't going to argue with it. I just kind of kept quiet and did my thing. Well... I mean, look, do we honestly think she would have been okay for more than a day in jail on her own? Now the good-humoured knockout is taking her newfound attention in stride and trying to find some fun in the wake of this very stressful ordeal. I just try and turn everything into a positive. That's always been my personality. Again, I call BS. What are they saying about in the comments? So reckless driving could have killed someone, but hey, she looks good doing it. She would have turned it into a positive. Why give these narcissistic, self-centered egomaniacs this type of attention? She's a thug and proud of it. Sad world we live in. Unfortunately, look, that is the case. I can't really say anything because, let's face it, I'm on social media. Takes a certain level of narcissistic tendencies to be on here, so I can kind of get it. It's like, well, you know, she swears that she's not going to speed again. But it's 99 in a 55 zone. She was pulled over, presumably because the cop wanted her number. Maybe she does karate between Botox injections. I doubt it. Highly doubt that. So, yeah, Sean Bird, that is the reason why we are talking about her. Because today is all about things that you shouldn't stick in your mouth. We're going to be talking about this chick, a woman that died from a milk allergy for eating tiramisu, and a few other things. So, looks like a man. Well, the first thing that popped into my mind when I saw this chick was, a little bit of a resemblance to Melania there. But, speeding is driving too slow, right? Says Sanglen over on Rumble. Only if you're doing it right. But anyway. My damn car flashes a speed limit if I go over. Yeah, mine has a warning on it that if you go over a certain point, it'll actually start shaking the steering wheel as well. Kind of feels like that's a little bit dangerous to me. Not that I've ever been in a position where where I actually had to use it, but you know, because you don't admit to any sort of crimes on the internet. So, but anyway, Moving on. The oldest ever dog, Bobby, has had his title suspended amid an investigation. That's right, people. Not only are people cheating in speedruns of video games, looking at you, you know who I'm talking about, but now they're apparently cheating with the age of their dogs for world records. The world's oldest dog, Bobby, who died in October, reportedly aged 31, has provisionally lost his title as Guinness World Records investigates his age, a spokesperson for the company told CNN on Tuesday. While our review is ongoing, we've decided to temporarily pause both the record for the title for the oldest living dog and oldest dog living and ever, just until our findings are in place, said the spokesperson. Bobby's age had initially been confirmed by Servico Medico Veterinario do Municipio de fuck it, I don't care. Damn it! Veterinarian Medical Service of the Municipality of Liera, which had been registered in 1992, while the Portuguese government authorised pet database verified this according to GWR's February announcement of the record. He was reportedly 31 years and 165 days old when he died in October. However, suspicions began to emerge soon after Bobby's death regarding the evidence that reportedly proved his true age. A spokesperson told CNN on Tuesday that GWR's formal review... Guinness World Records. When a record title is challenged and involves analysing existing evidence, seeking new evidence, reaching out to experts, and those linked to the original application. He's a beautiful pupper. Is there anything people won't lie about these days? No, not really. Oh, that's really kind of annoying. Hang on. Am I more centered? Yes, I'm more centered. There we go. She just got in their primary... What? Don't know exactly how old my dog is. She's a rescue. Oh, fair enough. Bobby's owner, Lionel Costa, who said he was 8 years old when the dog was born in 1992, told Guinness World Records in February that there were many secrets to the dog's extraordinary old age. Bobby always roamed freely without a leash or chain, lived in a calm, peaceful environment, and ate human food soaked in water to remove seasonings. So apparently you'll live longer if I give you human food that is soaked in water to remove seasonings. I mean, you eat enough human food as it is, so I can probably expect you to live to, 25? Hopefully. He was a purebred Raffiero do Alatejo, a breed of livestock guardian dog, according to Costa. They have a life expectancy of 12 to 14 years, according to the American Kennel Club, and Bobby spent his whole life in Conqueiros, a small Portuguese village about 150 kilometres, or 93 miles north of the capital of Lisbon, often wandering around with the cats. The previous world record holder for oldest living dog, and the oldest dog ever, was held by an Australian cattle dog, Bluey, who was born in 1910 and lived to be 29 years and 5 months old. Noises coming from Aussie's mouth are the same noises when a guy gets... What? Are you having audio issues? Is that what you're saying? Give my puppy human food all the time? Well, there you go. Alright. So the whole thing about Woolworths and Coles implementing these new-fangled anti-shoplifting measures really causing a bit of a stir now, because people are getting fed up with the fact that, you can be held against your will, and potentially for having done nothing wrong, false accusation, all that sort of crap. And now we've got this. A customer in a wheelchair got crushed by one of the gates. That's a bad day for PR. A customer using a wheelchair has been crushed by one of Coles' new smart gates just months after the controversial technology was rolled out in Australian stores. Last year, shoppers were left confused by the addition of the so-called smart gates to self-serve checkouts across the country. It's literally two pieces of plastic that open from a gate and lock you in. And it's not even that it's open and they just close it if someone's suspected of stealing. It's closed and the person watching the checkouts presses a button to let you out. So even without any sort of, no, when you try to say the foreign words. It's as far as I'm concerned, with those gates closed, I consider that there is an interim false imprisonment there, because you have done nothing wrong. There is no accusations made against you, but you are not free to leave the store until that button is pressed. I see issues with that legally. Just carry a pocket EMP, these devices do jack shit. Okay. Oh, it's a miniature schnauzer. There you go. Last year, shoppers were left confused by the addition. High-tech gates automatically open and shut to allow paying customers to exit the store. Bullshit. While supposedly blocking and thus deterring thieves. It is also a fire hazard. Yes, I agree with that. The gates were installed along with a slew of other security measures in response to rising theft rates, a Coles spokesperson previously told news.com.au. Okay, if you're managing to do all these things to reduce shrinkage, does that mean you're going to stop gouging customers in the sake of recouping the shrinkage value lost? I mean, it's not like there's going to be a public inquest from the government into Coles and Woolworths price gouging in terms of wholesale prices. I mean, what was it? I think they worked it out that they were paying farmers like, what, 15 cents for a lettuce or something and then selling it for $2 or $3? No, they're never going to lower the prices. What am I kidding? I must be insane! Well, most of our customers do the right thing. Unfortunately, a small number don't, a spokesperson said. Coles had a range of security measures in place to reduce theft from our stores, including CCTV, electronic article surveillance, and in some new stores, the smart gate technology that automatically opens as customers make payment for their products. My understanding is that is not how that works. But on Tuesday, a customer who chose to remain anonymous said they were on a routine shopping trip with their 10-year-old son when one of the smart gates slammed shut on them and their wheelchair. After buying a few items, the shopper proceeded to the exit, saying the gate was wide open. Their son passed through without incident, but when they tried to follow, the gate abruptly closed, hitting their arms and crushing their wheelchair. The gate began to beep to alert staff of the incident and only reopened when the customer continued to push their way through. The customer was not injured, but said that it was a scary incident. Well, yeah, no shit. You've got an automatic door closing on you. Why can't they spell Coles though? I don't know, Boosh. Why can't you spell it there? Obviously, wrapping coils around batteries and putting them in a 3D printed chassis is something thieves are too stupid to build. I would in no way condone that. Oh, you changed the photo to a puppy dog. Okay, well, there you go. I'll be calling every day until someone tells me how to avoid being crushed next time, they said. Social media users responded to the shopper's report, slamming the new technology, which one said was invasive and annoying, and potentially illegal, in my view, but anyway. I'm shitty that they closed them and you have to wait to get out sometimes because they want to check that you didn't steal a $3 lemon. It's turning into a jail rather than a supermarket. Plenty shared their own startling encounters with the smart gates, including several mums who said they'd slammed shut on their prams. Yeah, they've kept their profit margins? Yep. One literally snapped shut on our pram as we were pushing our kiddo through. I'd walked out of the store first, pram and husband following behind, especially because they make them too small for you to go side by side. It's insane, and I refuse to look at any self-checkout or checkout with that in the path. Not long until an elderly person is knocked over by them and breaks a hip or similar. Coles has been contacted for comment. Pram, stroller, baby stroller. You know, for pushing kids in, so the kid was anywhere between a few months to, 4 or 5 years old, depending on, however else. I see a lot of issue with this, I really do. I see issues with this legally, I see issues with this with liability issues. I'm not quite sure who the bright spark was at Coles and Woolworths too, because they both implemented it. Just go full Orwellian and have to scan your credit card when you enter the store, use facial tracking to check what items you pick up and place down. Kiosks like that exist here in Canada. We're already well on our way for that. As has been brought to my attention, there are 2 new bills that I need to be keeping an eye on. Basically, the driver's license system here in Australia is going to be forcibly changed to a digital record. Mix that with the disinformation bill and the digital identification requiring you to have a digital identity document, and they'll pretty much be able to track you wherever, whenever. And keep in mind, people, Australia's a petri dish. Just because Labor decides to bow down to the World Economic Forum and to other vested interests doesn't mean it's not going to be elsewhere. So, they aren't stopping crime, they're inconveniencing taxpayers. Yep. Fight it? I already am. I've already put in submissions against the mis- and disinformation bill, and it looks like I'm going to have to take some time to write some submissions against these 2 new bills as well. So that's got to be fun. The info will be sold. The info's not even, it's not even safe. I mean, Medicare, Medibank, a bunch of insurers. I'm trying to think who else got, hacked in the last 2 years. Like, I don't, look, honestly, if they're going to sell the information, fine, that's part of what I agree to as being part of this country. But they can't even protect the damn stuff. I do not agree with the government digitally tracking me. Look, honestly, neither do I. But the trouble is, with so many people in their little left-wing bubbles here in Australia, nothing's going to change. Will you get that in the UK too? I would fully expect it, Huggy, at some... Huggy? At some point. There was a bank. Oh, yeah. Was it National or was it Westpac? First time I'm hearing about this. Here's a trick. Walk to front with your stolen item. Wait for someone who paid to get buzzed. Run. Success. St. Vincent's Hospital. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Digital tracking is absolutely pure BS. It's an absolute bullshit. Police have too many problems such as crackheads and drug dealers. Making shops theft-proof is cheaper than hiring thousands of cops. Government doesn't pay their IT security people anywhere close to what they need to make. Yep. But, you know, they're more than happy to give away $320 billion in tax cuts to the rich so that they can cut down on their... See, this is what I don't understand. They're going to cut the income tax rate for people making over $200,000 a year and make it a flat 30%. Okay, fine. But holy fuck, $320 billion a year? Like, we're already in a massive amount of debt. What was that? Good morning, Purple Rigger. Slide play, good to see you too. Alright, let's move on. I need something that is going to be funny and is not going to actually cause me to have high blood pressure. Oh look, a sovereign citizen. A sovereign citizen shares his shocking response when pulled over by the police. A self-proclaimed sovereign citizen who was pulled over for having fake license number plates has filmed her bizarre interaction with the police. More pissed about the billions in foreign aid than I am about the rich getting tax breaks. Actually, the trouble is... No, Huggy, I did say, you can probably expect it. Australia is the petri dish. Generally, the progression is something happens in New Zealand or Australia, then you see it in the UK, and if it is constitutionally viable, they will implement it in the US. That's been the progression for various things that I've seen over the years. So yes, I would fully expect it in the UK at some point, probably in the next 5, maybe 7 years. As for the reason why I'm both pissed off about the foreign aid and the tax breaks, because they're going to continue with the foreign aid irrespective of removing the tax breaks. That's the bit that's going to piss me the fuck off. Hey, Psychodol, how you doing? Anyway, sovereign citizen shares shocking response.
I'm being pulled over by Highway Patrol. You've got his lights on. I don't feel the need to pull over. There's no emergency, so I'm waving him on. Go. There's no emergency.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Go past, mate.
They spent the effort they put into this sovereign citizen shit they do in daily lives. Could be millionaires.
What happens to the emergency? I'm not in any need of assistance. Thank you.
Vehicle registered?
Well, it's private, so it's a private vehicle, privately owned.
Yeah, is it registered to use on a Victorian road?
This'll be good.
Road of what?
What state are you in?
Terra Australis. There is no states. I'm so tired.
Oh, you're tired of this shit.
Well, they're private plates. Nothing false about them.
They're false.
What's false is Victoria Police with an ABN to overseas. You guys are the fraudulent ones. That's fine. I've already got them. I'm actually I'm on YouTube because I went viral for this a year ago.
Notice how they use the ACT to trial different schemes because it's full of brainwashed public servants and uni students. There is that.
You guys are the ones who sped to catch up with me, and there's no emergency. No worries, Baldy. He actually looks like Doc Martin.
Oh, come on.
It's my folder. I need to do some quick research. Do some quick study.
Oh, sweetheart, no amount of research is going to increase your brain capacity at this stage.
I'm a vulnerable lady in the middle of nowhere with 2 big eyes.
The cops have done nothing wrong here, Boosh. She is driving around with fake license plates on. They've pulled her over.
God, they're so robotic. I don't even know. I can't even... Oh, the other one's got teeth. Looks like he just came out of jail.
Oh, classy.
Looks like he just came out of...
Quick research, learning on the fly.
Bible. Just so sick of being harassed. It's not stopping me. It's a good day to get me because I feel good. Oh my god, they're wasting my time.
Sweetheart, you're going to jail if you keep this up.
I am timeless.
It's called the Road Safety Act. It's more than that. I mean, the whole thing that people don't seem to understand is that the public roads are... What we pay in registration fees for the maintenance of roads and that sort of thing, you're effectively licensing the land that the roads are built on. If they actually looked at it like that, these morons' arguments go right out the fucking window. Damn it! I'm swore. Sovereign citizen crap is getting out of hand? Yeah. She's uninsured and unlicensed? Probably.
Boy. Called him Baldy.
Yeah, probably shouldn't have called him Baldy either.
What do you think, bro? Are you, what, Harry? I'll call you Harry.
Fingers crossed Apophis takes us out in 2029.
Instead of working for a fraudulent corporation who is this close to being tried for war crimes against humanity and genocide and fraud. So I...
Did she just say the Victoria Police are going to be tried for war crimes? Or is she talking about the Australian government? Because Victoria Police doesn't work for the Australian government, they work for the Victorian government. And I'm pretty sure the... No, Trenton, I'm trying to scale back the swearing because YouTube doesn't like it. And at some point I do actually want to grow the channel. I want to see how she deals with the TSA at an airport.
I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm sitting in a better spot than you are. And if you don't want to get on the train out of hell, then that's fine. That's your karma. You actually really...
Were they sovereign citizens that shot at the police and killed a neighbour last year? Yes. Yes, they were.
Mouth. Obviously an ex-drug dealer. Ex-druggie. And you, well, you need a diet. A little bit of self-care. Take your head out of your ass.
Pot, kettle, head, what is it? Anal rectal craniotomy? Oh shit, I did not mean to do that. Oh no, I am not watching this bitch from the start. Are you kidding me? Oh, there we go.
What do you think, bro? Ex-druggie. And you, well, you need a diet.
TSA has no sense of humour.
Self-care.
All of the authority. Yeah, look, the only time that I had any sort of issues in America was going through one of the international terminals through the domestic terminal and dealing with the TSA. It was the only time that there was any sort of assholes.
Fraud. Genocide.
There's
Genocide.
2 infringements, one for unregistered motor vehicle and one for displaying plates not issued to that vehicle. My details are on the bottom. Both infringements are due on the 1st of February. Details.
You know she's going to scrunch those up.
Yeah, just post it.
Do you have any questions?
No. No contract.
Yeah, that ain't gonna work, sweetheart. Nope, no contract. I disagree. I do not agree to being fined for driving on the roads unlicensed and with it. Oh, for fruit's sake, just. Oh my goodness me. Just tell them it can be used for a voter ID. No, see, I don't understand how voter ID is such a big thing in the US, but that's something that I want to talk about at a different time. Like, we managed to have very little voter fraud, I should say. And we don't have to have voter ID, but we still managed to get, like, all the votes done on the same day. Generally, you've got an estimate of the tally within 24, 48 hours, and it's just, yeah. Ever seen Larry the Cable Guy's movie Witness Protection? He goes to the TSA and they do a cavity search and the stench kills. Ew! Hey, Lorraine, thank you. She's hoping for genocide. No, I think she was hoping to have some sort of... I think she wanted to be a martyr.
I don't want to touch it. Here's proof that I didn't touch it. And then they'll get me for litter, so I'll just hang on for a second.
Are you seriously showing? Oh my god, this woman. She tried to drive away. It's an unroadworthy vehicle. She's just been pulled over by the cops. Good god. Okay, well, self-proclaimed sovereign citizen has filmed himself getting into an altercation with police after being stopped by highway patrol. Driver Chloe Fisher was pulled over for police for driving while out driving in Victoria due to having fake number plates and an unregistered vehicle. But when the two officers attempted to engage, she explained that explained what she had done wrong. She told them she was a sovereign citizen and that her vehicle was private. Being pulled over, and I don't feel the need to pull over, she said. I'm not going to reread any of that. As the officers got out of the vehicle, she winds down the window and demands to know what the emergency is, to which the officer replies, "You! Sovereign citizens are the emergency!" One of the officers asks the woman if her vehicle is registered, to which she tells him it is private. Now I'm just... she says she does not abide by Australian laws. Of course not. To be continued. I didn't touch it, it didn't happen. Well, let's just say you've got footage on the internet of you touching it anyway. What's this? I will uphold the truth. Unfortunately, you guys are the ones who sped up to catch me. I'm locking my car. I'm a vulnerable lady in the middle of nowhere with two big-ass costume wearers. Okay, so there must have been more to the video. I'm just so sick of being harassed, it's not surprising me. As she waits for the police to return to her vehicle, she goes on to insult their appearances, blah, blah, blah. She then goes on a baseless rant about the police, claiming they're fraudulent and guilty of various crimes, including war crimes, which I thought was hilarious. So when they come after you for your streaming stuff under the new laws, you're going to try that? No. I'm just going to fight the laws in the proper way. After a few minutes, they come back, breathalyze the woman before issuing her with 2 fines. Okay, so the video was cut, because they did not show her getting breathalyzed. They must have got the cop records on this. 2 infringements, details at the bottom, blah, blah, blah. She tries to put up her car window before she can be given the fines, but they get caught at the top. No contract, she yells as she attempts to quickly do up her window. In a hilarious fail, the infringement is caught wedged in the window inside the car. I do not contract. They blew it out my window and I drove off. In a statement, Victoria Police told news.com.au, while so-called sovereign citizens and conspiracy theorists like to think they're answerable to no authority, the reality is that they're part of society and have no choice but to comply with the law. Speaking of, are you following the WF forum at the moment? Seriously concerning stuff coming out of there regarding speech right now. Yeah, not something I'm going to talk about on the stream though at the moment. To be fair, she's kind of right about them being guilty of crimes. Not war crimes, though. Not Victoria Police war crimes. As much as I hate the government wishes these sovereign citizens could get away with it, I'm not delusional enough to think it's possible. Pick your battles wisely, people. Exactly. This is not the first time Chloe's been stopped by police, with a similar incident occurring a year ago that saw her being issued with fines for similar incidents. Social media users thought that the police should have gone tougher on her, so she was unregistered with fake plates and just allowed to drive off. Well, no. The cop, you could hear at the end of the video, specifically said that she was not allowed to drive off. So fed up with these cookers being given special treatment, anyone else, and they would have pursued them and had them hog-tied to the ground on their way to the prison cell. That girl's headed to jail where she'll get a big reality check. Hope she doesn't fall off her skateboard, break her arm, and need a corporate-owned ambulance or hospital to come to her aid. Love how she's picking on aspects of others' looks when she's no oil painting. Her mirror is also living in an alternate reality. That's funny. Yeah, she's a habitual offender, clearly. At its core, the sovereign citizen movement is a refusal to be governed, be it views on government policy, surveillance, COVID, or lockdown mandates, or the banking systems, all uphold similar beliefs and share an unwillingness to comply with police direction. One insider, Robert Sudi, a former pseudo-law adherent, told the SBS program The Feed that being a sovereign citizen is like having a mind virus. I was being led into something that wasn't really going to work legally. First founded in the US. Thank you, people! The movement latched onto the pseudo-legal ideology and beliefs that are bound that they are bound by statute laws only if they consent to those laws. Ironically, Mr. Sudi, who now observes the movement as a researcher, was lured to the movement after Googling how to dispute a traffic infringement in 2011. It used to basically be that tax evasion, getting out of fines, not paying council rates, all those sorts of things. And now it's become a social phenomena. Great. a type of tool in which people can exert their feelings of disenchantment with the government, and I brought this to the attention of authorities in 2014. If you say subscribe to PewDiePie, is that a crime in Australia? I have no idea. Who does she call when she's a defenseless woman alone and someone takes advantage of her? Her TikTok supporters? Quite possibly. Alright, where are we? That didn't get my blood pressure down as much as I was hoping it would, honestly. If I'm perfectly honest. So let's talk about something a little bit weird and wonderful. Loud sex noises lead to a St. Louis robber getting busted. In October 21, 49-year-old Marion Jones robbed a Foot Locker store in South St. Louis. St. Louis? He might have gotten away with the crime too if only he'd used some earbuds and not watched porn in his car outside of a Waffle House. That's just the sentence that keeps on giving, isn't it? The robbery began with Jones's accomplice, Demetrius Kirksey, 35, pointing a handgun at an employee at the shoe store, telling him, back up, or I'll shoot you! Jones stole shoes, while Kirksey stole $800 in cash, and the two of them made off together in a maroon SUV. Kirksey was taken into custody in April 22 and pled guilty to his role in the robbery earlier this week. Jones didn't make it on the lam quite as long. 2 days after the robbery, Jones was in a Chevy Equinox outside a Waffle House in St. Charles, near the Ameristar Casino. A concerned patron heard what sounded like a female in distress. Okay, if you're gonna watch porn in public, not that I would in any way endorse that, don't do great porn because people will think that someone's in distress. Florida man in St. Louis, sounds like it. It's a Waffle House, what do you expect? What is up with America and your damn fast food areas? Like, seriously. Between Waffle House and IHOP and what was the other one that I was supposed to go to at 2 a.m? Not Walmart, the actual place with food? Why a Waffle House? It's a damn good question. Arrived to find this. Police arrived at the scene to find no female and Jones in anything but distress. They say that he was watching porn in his car, the source of the sounds that raised the bystanders' alarm. Officers ran the plates of the car and, seeing that it was stolen, asked Jones if he had any weapons. Jones, a convicted felon, was legally barred from possessing a firearm that they said he had on his hip. Police seized the gun. The following April, the feds indicted them on robbery and using a gun in furtherance of a crime. Because of the Waffle House incident, he also got hit with a charge of being a felon in possession on top of the other two. Jones pled guilty to 2 charges stemming from the robbery in exchange to having the felony in possession charge dropped. He's set to be sentenced in February. It's dinner time! Time to bust one out! Waffle House is not fast food, it's short order. I don't know the difference. Okay? I don't know the difference. To us, it's all fast food. If it is not somewhere where you sit down for a long meal, it's just... yeah. It's drunk stoner food. Awesome. It's open all night. At least it's not Denny's. That's true. At least it's not Denny's. Where are we? Close some of that off. And when we go from one porn athlete to another, naked man charged with burglary. A Schuylkill Haven man is facing charges after police say he jumped through his neighbor's window to gain entry into the house while he was buck naked. According to the Pottsville Bureau of Police, at around 7:13 a.m., because that extra 27 minutes makes a difference, officers responded to a block of West Norwegian Street at the reported break-in. That's got to be a typo. Reported break-in. Police say the 27-year-old, who was nude, jumped through his neighbor's window, shattering the glass window pane to get inside the home. According to police, upon arrival, a female resident told police that the neighbor had jumped through the window and was still in the house. According to law enforcement, police entered the home and he was... I'm trying desperately to avoid saying his name. The man who was still naked approached officers, refusing to listen to verbal commands. Police say they attempted to take him into custody, but he continuously resisted and disobeyed numerous orders. Dude must have been high off his face. Waffle House has chicken and waffles, and it's usually quite ratchet. Porn in the parking lot is standard for a Waffle House. Okay. Bless you. Also, I think it was Lorraine that suggested that I move the dog bed to the back so that she'd lay in front of it near the camera. All it's done is move her closer to the door. Maybe it was after some fast foof. More important question, was he aroused? Went through the airport in Idaho last year, got pulled aside and saw on the big screen square... Oh, my private part. I got frisked and let go. Hope he yelled, who's going to stop me? Oh, dear. Another occupant told police that when they heard the window shatter, they saw him lying on the ground, and when he got up, he started walking around stating he's going to kill them. Pottsville police say that a male resident began to grapple with him, but he broke free just as law enforcement arrived. You never want to have to grapple with a naked man. Just... he was taken into custody and charged with felony counts of burglary and criminal trespassing, as well as indecent exposure, simple assault, and criminal mischief. He's out of prison on $15,000 bail. He only got a $15,000 bail? As he waits preliminary hearing scheduled for Monday, February 5. Don't sit with your back to the door at Waffle House. Who wants to grapple with a large naked dude? Gross. Yeah, well... not necessarily something that I'd be doing, that's for sure. Dude wants to go upstairs, dude can just go upstairs, provided there's no one else out there. Okay, back to the theme of the show. Woman with milk allergy dies after eating vegan tiramisu. A woman with a severe dairy allergy died days after eating a tiramisu that was advertised as vegan, prompting an investigation into the dessert's maker. Anna Belisario, who was 20 at the time of her death last year, was out to dinner with her boyfriend at a vegan burger chain called Flower Burger in Milan, Italy on January 26, 2023. No way in hell there's no way in hell that tiramisu was dairy-free if it was in the middle of Italy. You kidding me? They shouldn't have arrested him unless they took all their clothes off. Ew. She was a fashion student who reportedly checked the label on the tiramisu and asked for more information about the dessert before consuming it. After eating just a few spoonfuls, she started coughing and had trouble breathing. She attempted to make herself vomit and took asthma medication and cortisone that she had with her, but she eventually lost consciousness after suffering an anaphylactic shock. She was in a coma for 10 days in the hospital before she died on February 5, 2023. She suffered from a dairy allergy since birth and had visited the restaurant before, according to the Mirror. A mother and daughter who run the pastry company that supplied the pre-made tiramisu to Flower Burger and 63 other restaurants is now being investigated for manslaughter, according to the Corriere della Sera. The Post reached out to Flower Burger for comment. Italian Insider identified the pastry company as Tiramisuan when the outlet reported on the incident last year. After the incident, the Italian Ministry of Health ordered that the vegan tiramisu be recalled after it was suspected to contain milk. Traces of milk and milk protein were found in the tiramisu products from the brand, and traces of egg were found in the mayonnaise of the sandwich that she ordered for her entree. So that's not just in relation to the tiramisu then. I mean, if it ain't vegan, it ain't vegan. So... It's thought that the tiramisu might have mixed up production lines for their vegan pastries with their desserts containing milk. Judge Fiammetta Modica called the incident a worrying picture of unscrupulousness. Okay. The Post was unable to reach someone from the company for comment. Look, it's a right shame that she died. I mean, obviously, this is manufacturer liability. You know, this goes right back to the snail in the bottle case, but, I mean, let's face it, I have no idea what Italian law is like. Here, the family has a death claim against the manufacturer for fucking up. Damn it! For... Could have been the dough conditioner, aka powdered milk. Look, that's altogether possible as well. Confirmed vegan isn't vegan. Well, you know. I mean, look, this is just one more case of something that you shouldn't put in your mouth. Just like the naked guy from the last story. Another thing you shouldn't be putting in your mouth, or at least that a inmate shouldn't be putting in their mouth, is DoorDash, ordered for them by a guard. Alvin S. Glenn guard, accused of ordering DoorDash for an inmate, contacted them on a secret phone. In Colombia, a guard at Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center has been arrested on misconduct charges after a search of an inmate's cell. The Richland County Sheriff's Department said 27-year-old Amara Brown was charged after an investigation and her own admissions in regarding to her communications and more with an inmate at the county jail. You just know she was getting her rocks off while he was in the yard. You beeped the wrong word, I'm acutely aware. After being read her Miranda rights, the Sheriff's Department said that Brown admitted that on several occasions since March 23, she communicated with an inmate outside work hours through calls to his contraband cell phone. So not only did she contact him, she knew that he had a contraband cell phone. The Sheriff's Department said that on August 8, she ordered food through DoorDash and left her assigned area to deliver the food to the inmate's cell. The Sheriff's Department said a shakedown of the inmate's cell led guards to discover the food. Further investigation revealed that the guard had frequently had contact with the inmate both as a correctional officer and in her private life, while still employed at the jail. I have no idea why I'm still talking like this. Warning, Porcelain Thunder has joined the chat. Brown was charged with misconduct in officer and furnishing... misconduct in officer, okay. In officer, that's an interesting way of putting it. And furnishing contraband to a prisoner before being booked into the same jail where she had worked. That's in no way a conflict of interest. What the hell is with these news articles? How do you get food? Fuck, how are there inmates with fucking OnlyFans? That's a damn good point too. She gave him more than the phone or the food. Yeah, they were making OnlyFans content. Possibly. Potentially. Moving on to another thing that you shouldn't be sticking in your mouth. Iconic US pizza chain Chuck E. Cheese is coming to Australia. American fast food giant Chuck E. Cheese has announced its plans to expand to Australia with trampolines, dance floors, and climbing walls peppering the beloved restaurants. The iconic pizza and wings joint is adored for its arcade-style games, kid-friendly food and birthday parties, and of course the giant mouse mascot that gives it its name. The US menu features cheesy pizzas, barbecue wings, and birthday cake, as well as a new grown-up menu for more adult-friendly offerings. God damn it. Scarlett! Oh wait, she's at daycare. See, I can't look at Chuck E. Cheese the same way after watching Five Nights at Freddy. It's Junkie Cheese now. Huh? Five Nights at Chucky's. Chuck E. Cheese announced this month that it signed a partnership with Royale Hospitality Group, the Aussie company behind hospo ventures like Milky Lane, Planet Royale, and Outback Jack's. Royale Hospitality is reportedly actively scouting locations in Australia. The Australian franchise will include the trampolines, video walls, and dance floors, along with climbing and soft play elements found in many of the Chuck E. Cheese's international locations. I just want to try the wings. The restaurant chain calls itself America's go-to location for kids' birthday parties, hosting 500,000 birthday parties each year in its 600 locations spread across 16 countries. The chief operating officer of Chuck E. Cheese International, Mario Centello, fuck it, damn it, called it a powerful global brand centered around the timeless essence of family fun. Went to Chuck E. Cheese in Tampa with my niece in 2016. Gross, but the games are fun. I'm expecting it to be okay for the first, couple of years. Because everything will be brand new, everything will be whatever. And then I'm sort of expecting that it'll be a little less... I'm expecting it to go downhill pretty quickly. Don't say soft play in Chuck E. Cheese, please. Skee ball is where it at. Well, for that we got Time Zone. We're thrilled to bring the magic of Chuck E. Cheese to Australia and to collaborate with Royale Hospitality Group, a partner that shares our commitment to delivering exceptional family experiences. Royale Hospitality Managing Director Ray Strauss said the partnership was a momentous step forward, establishing Chuck E. Cheese as a premier destination for families seeking an unparalleled kid-centric entertainment and dining experience. They're going to have a fair amount of competition here. I mean, between the Crocs Playgrounds, Time Zone... Excuse me. You've got a few places. Are you serious right now? That woke you up, didn't it? Didn't even get to throw one at you. You gonna catch? No, you're just gonna... Alright, there you go. At least that stopped the snoring. Will they sell alcohol there like they do at the US locations? Probably. Especially if they've got a more adult-orientated menu as well. I would fully expect that they'll add a... that they'll have alcohol. Alrighty. Alright. Gotta talk about it. Accused child killer Adam Montgomery refuses court appearance and lawyers push for separate assault and murder trials. A final pre-trial hearing for Adam Montgomery's murder charge began on Tuesday morning, with the defendant refusing to appear in court. Montgomery is facing second-degree murder and assault charges in New Hampshire in connection with the presumed death of his 5-year-old daughter, Harmony Montgomery. Over the holiday weekend, Montgomery's defense team submitted motions that could potentially alter how the trial is handled. Initially, Montgomery agreed to consolidate the assault case with the murder case. His attorneys are now seeking to have the charges tried separately. There's been a substantial change, or at least we have become aware of a strategy by the state that I believe would be unfair to Mr. Montgomery, said defense attorney Carolyn Smith. Prosecutors said that there wasn't any additional information that the defense and the defendant didn't already have. We really take umbrage with the idea that this new information with regards to the motion to join, but whether or not the defendant has a right to withdraw his motion for joinder, I think that he does, said Senior Assistant Attorney General Ben Aggerty to ABC 9. In the event of separate trials, prosecutors said that they would prefer the assault trial to precede the murder trial based on the chronological order of the charges. The assault is the older charge and is considered relevant to the subsequent murder trial. Pampered Princess says, why the hot one's always the worst? Ew. Alright. Crime Line previously reported that Harmony was officially reported missing in December 21, although she's not been seen in years. Police received a call from her biological mother, Crystal Sorey, on November 18, 2021. She said Adam Montgomery had physical custody of Harmony and she could not get in touch with him. Sorey said she lost custody of Harmony in 2018 due to drug issues. So she failed her daughter, and he allegedly killed her. That is heartbreaking. What's the benefit of doing them separately? If they're separate instances, then the reason they'll be trying to do them separately is that he may get convicted of the assault charge, and they wouldn't want that influencing the jury on the murder charge. It's also propensity evidence. I can understand exactly why I would want them to be tried separately. Agreeing to consolidate them was probably not the best thing for them to do in the first place, but yeah. No, the kid never had a chance. Bleeping didn't work, the closed caption still picked up the swearing. Montgomery, according to Sorey, blocked her calls and blocked her from social media and didn't allow her to speak to Harmony after Easter in 2019. He was later charged with her murder after his ex-wife, Kayla Montgomery, told police that he hit Harmony 3 times after she had a bathroom accident inside a vehicle, knocking her unconscious. Really hoping it didn't catch that last one. Contrary to the laws of New Hampshire, he was charged with second-degree murder, tampering with witnesses and informants, falsifying physical evidence, and abuse of a corpse. On information and belief, see attachment A. Oh, hang on, this is scribed. I can open this up and just download it. Oh, I'm not going to go through all 54 pages. Shit. Didn't the ex-wife also hurt the kid? Possibly. Kayla Montgomery told investigators that no one checked on the victim and they didn't get her medical help. Harmony subsequently passed away, police said, although her body is still missing. Jury selection is scheduled to begin on February 6th. The judge is expected to decide whether the charges should be split into 2 trials before jury selection. It's unclear whether another hearing will take place before the trial. Do 51? What? 51 of the 54 pages? Well, I mean, I won't be able to cover any of the other things I was going to talk about. But, I mean, I wanted to see... How long is this hearing? The hearing's an hour. Do we want to do the hearing? I mean, this was a case that I was potentially looking at covering, so... Cases like this make me rethink my stance on forced sterilization. Alright, hang on. I'll quickly whip through a couple of other things that I was going to cover, and then we'll come back to it. Might not want to read Make Pikes Great Again. Okay, hang on. No, I don't care about the flight attendant. That's fine. I can move on from that. Oh, Florida man throws beer can, fires AR-15 rifle after being upset by drivers speeding in his neighborhood. Guess who? A Polk County man is facing felony charges after investigators say his temper raced as a vehicle sped past his house. According to Sheriff Grady Judd, Proctor told investigators that he threw a beer can at a vehicle because it was speeding in the neighborhood. He then confronted the driver about going too fast. That's when, according to the sheriff, he said he was going to go get his AR-15 rifle. He went into his house and he comes out with his rifle and this dude shoots 3 times, once in the air, twice in the ground. Deputies say Proctor told them he didn't do it, but Sheriff Judd said that there's neighborhood video showing that he did. Proctor was arrested for aggravated assault. If you're that stirred up, just call us, he stated. We're here to deal with it, and you won't up in jail on a felony charge. Looks like a gruffier Hayden. You know who he reminds me of? The sidekick from Hot Fuzz. Love the Sunshine Laws? Yeah. Aussie's American cousin. Okay. Check this out. An influencer managed to use a police station to launder guns. Gun influencer who used the small town cops to import machine guns. James Sawyer, the police chief and the only officer in Ray ND, spent his days waiting to catch the occasional driver going over the 25 speed limit where the highway hits this farm town of 700 residents. Outside of helping nearby deputies with a rare car chase or a sporadic break-in, there was little for him to do, the town officials recall. Until one day several years ago when he got a strange request, according to court documents. A man named Larry Vickers, who held popular firearms tactics training sessions for law enforcement, needed a favour. Could he help him import a machine gun into the country? All he had to do was write a letter that would be submitted to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives, saying his one-man department was interested in buying the highly restricted weapon. A single officer in an area of 700 people is interested in buying a machine gun. Well, have you heard the name Grady Judd before? Because we talk about him with reasonable frequency, probably once or twice every couple of months. He's pretty based. His press conferences are hilarious. Vickers was no ordinary instructor. He was a Delta Force veteran, revered by military veterans and cops, whose gun videos got millions of views on YouTube. Sawyer agreed to help. The chief went on to write the letters saying his department was possibly interested in buying 73 different firearms, including machine guns, and short-barreled rifles, prosecutors allege. He never saw the guns. The letters allowed Vickers and his associates to keep or sell them. You're the only ones I've ever done these for because I consider you a good friend, brother, he wrote to Vickers in 2018, according to federal documents. Federal prosecutors in Maryland last October announced that a grand jury had indicted Sawyer, Vickers, and several others for conspiracy to illegally acquire machine guns. Prosecutors alleged that the dealers and the police officers from around the country worked together to illegally import numerous heavily regulated weapons into the US. The sprawling gun-running operation has entangled a former Homeland Security analyst and a former sheriff of the most populous area in New Mexico. That's funny. This is my Texan coming out, but the machine guns should not be restricted any more than a normal rifle. Most of the defendants have yet to enter pleas, but Vickers shocked his fans, many of whom believed he was unfairly charged, by pleading guilty in October to participating in the gun import operation, as well as other charges. He faces at least 5 years in prison. I own my actions and understand the consequences. Big boy rules, as many of us, myself included, have said in the past, Vickers said in a post on Facebook. Sawyer, who resigned from his post months before he was charged, also faces 5 years in prison if convicted. Neither Sawyer nor his lawyer responded to a request for comment. Sounds legal to me. The only thing is they're going to have to prove that the officer did not have the intention of ever actually buying the weapons. If there's any evidence to that, if there's any text messages, if there's any written correspondence, otherwise I would say yeah, it's fully within the bounds and that he should be okay. Lol, if you're running cop training, you can ignore the GCA anyway. The The federal government first imposed tight restrictions on machine guns which fire continuously with one pull of the trigger and short-barreled rifles in 1934 to crack down on their use by gangsters and bootleggers. Anyone wanting to buy one had to register it with the federal government and pay a special tax. In 86, Reagan signed a law that banned the manufacture of new machine guns for sale to civilians. Legal machine guns, those made before 1986, have since soared in value because of their limited number. A fully automatic M16 is worth between $40,000 and $60,000 according to industry experts. Their owners are usually wealthy gun collectors. There was an exception. Dealers could still get new machine guns to show off to police departments that were interested in buying them for their SWAT teams. All the dealer had to do was get a letter from the police department and submit it to the ATF, a division of the Department of Justice. If police officials liked what they saw, they could make the purchase. But some dealers began using the process to bring guns into the country without any intention of selling them to police agencies, prosecutors, and industry experts say. People started abusing it, said a gun industry consultant. Now you've got guys bringing in hundreds of machine guns a year. In recent years, authorities have begun to crack down. A Maryland sheriff was indicted last year for writing letters to help get machine guns to a local shooting range owner that they allegedly rented out to their customers. The sheriff has pled not guilty. Deputies from a small Pennsylvania sheriff's department and a gun dealer were sentenced to prison time in 2017 and 2018 for illegally importing machine guns and selling the parts. Federal and local law enforcement officers are making changes to their policies. One sheriff's department ensnared in the case has stopped issuing such letters. The ATF has increased scrutiny of such transactions. When we see indications of non-compliance or unlawful activity, we appropriately respond. We have enhanced review of these transfers. The agency spokesperson declined to comment specifically on the Vickers case. What the hell? Mr. Big Kosh. It was a single gun sold online in Arizona that played a vital role in cracking the case. Christopher Fiorentino dabbled in Bitcoin, real estate, and firearms made by German company Heckler & Koch. Hence his username in an online gun marketplace. He lived in the wealthy Phoenix suburb and owned an Aston Martin and Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. Investigators at the ATF grew suspicious when a dealer in Florida reported that a gun it had purchased from him appeared to have be a highly regulated short-barrel rifle. They discovered that he was selling a lot of guns and didn't have a dealer's license, prosecutors allege. When the ATF raided his condo that he shared with his fiancée, they found more than 60 guns, including 4 short-barrel rifles he hadn't registered with the federal government, prosecutors allege. They also discovered that he had a Heckler & Koch machine gun that also wasn't registered. But it was his phone that revealed the much broader web. There were WhatsApp messages between him and a former Homeland Security analyst named Sean Redpath Sullivan, who had a side business importing guns from Europe. Prosecutors alleged that he was buying imported guns through an alleged black market network that Sullivan and Vickers had developed. They're legal, but only for the rich. Just another example of two-tier justice. Florentino had pled not guilty. Also pled not guilty. Damn, this just keeps going. Anyway. Point is, cop got caught up in a scheme. I think this is, I'm not a fan of the ATF, if I'm perfectly honest, but, as an officer of the law, he probably should have known better. Excuse me. Got a hair or something at the court. Alright. Oh yeah, this one. A bride has been arrested for extortion in Mexico and handcuffed in her wedding dress. A bride was arrested on her wedding day, Mexico authorities announced on Friday, accused in an extortion scheme that included her would-be husband and 6 other suspects. A woman identified only as Nancy N. by Mexico state prosecutors was arrested last month in a joint operation as she was preparing to marry her spouse. Another extortion suspect, identified as Clement N. However, authorities were unable to apprehend the groom, who goes by the alias of Mouse. The couple were part of a group accused of extorting chicken merchants in Toluca near Mexico City and suspected of kidnapping 4 workers of the poultry shop in Toluca. They broke up the wedding. I can guess why they broke up the wedding. A gold star to anyone in chat that can work it out. They're going to ruin that dress. My dear, how to blew up my cow. Ew. One of 8 suspects arrested, identified as Santiago N., was accused of driving an Explorer-type truck to transport the kidnapped victims. The prosecutor's office posted photos of the suspects involved in the extortion scheme, as well as a video montage showing Nancy N. in handcuffs, still wearing a wedding dress, as well as photos of alleged evidence. The suspects allegedly have ties to the La Familia Michoacano drug cartel, and the prosecutor's office said earlier this month the same cartel was blamed for a drone attack in the southern state of Guerrero that left at least 6 people dead. Nisael N., who goes by the alias Chicken, he's a chicken, allegedly controlled extortion activities in the region, while Nabor N. was identified by authorities as the main hoarder and controller of chicken and the chicken and egg trade. Was she a cop's daughter? I don't think so. Authorities say rival gangs have been fighting for extortion control in the region. They say the dispute ramped up last July when human remains and warning notes were received in Toluca. The prosecutor's office subsequently arrested 11 members of the criminal gang known as El Pecha. In 2023, the Mexico State Prosecutor's Office reported a decrease of 3.44% in extortion. Jonathan, ding ding ding, breaking up the wedding to get around spousal privilege if they have something of that sort. Nicely done. Gold star. Specifically, the efforts to crack down on extortion have resulted in losses of about $47 million for criminal groups, according to authorities. So there you go. Let's see, I can save that one. Oh, but we got to talk about Bumfarto. The legend of Bumfarto, the Key West fire chief turned drug dealer who vanished. Stroll through the island of Key West in Florida in the late 1970s and you were likely to come across a puzzling fashion trend. People sporting a $5 novelty t-shirt emblazed with the words, "Where is Bumfarto?" Tourists may have been confused, but locals understood. Farto, his real name, was a figure of considerable infamy in the region. On the surface, he was a respected city official who headed up the fire station and cheered on the high school baseball team. He was also noted as eccentric and had an alleged fondness for witchcraft and a proven fondness for dealing drugs. Key West is a special place. In 1975, when Farto was no longer able to keep up his veneer of respectability and became ensnared in an undercover drug bust, it seemed to be the end. But the clever fire chief had one more trick up his sleeve. He would soon vanish into thin air. Bum was born Joseph Farto in Key West on July 3, 1919. The island city is a minor paradise with coral reefs and snorkeling, beaches and dolphin sightings. But Farto, who was of Spanish descent, wasn't lured by the ocean. His childhood fascination was the fire station directly across the street from his house. I can see why he got the nickname Bumfarto. No one give this guy beans. He used to hang around the old number 1 fire department on Green Street all the time, and the firemen started calling him the Little Bum. One friend told the Miami Herald in 1976, he was always bumming things, asking for favours like little kids do. Yes, Farto was legitimately his last name. The name stuck. Bumfarto grew up and married a woman named Esther in 1955. The couple had no children. Though Farto held other jobs, including one at a funeral home, it seemed inevitable he'd wind up at the fire station. And so he did! First operating fire hoses before being named fire chief in 1964. Chief Farto? Chief Farto cut one. Hell of a striking figure, even by the colourful standards of Key West. He favoured bright red leisure suits and rose-tinted glasses. His Ford Galaxy was lime green. On either of his license plate or painted directly on his car Either painted on his license plate or directly on the car, accounts vary, were the words El Jefe, the chief, in Spanish. Farto had good reason for feeling emboldened. In 1966, the city commission recommended he be removed as fire chief due to alleged misappropriation of the city funds. But a civil service board overturned the action, ensuring that Farto would remain in his role after a 30-day suspension. Among those on the board were Farto's nephew. Farto was also keen on Santeria, a religion popular in Cuba that blended Catholic practices with African traditions. To non-practitioners, its rituals and offerings may have seemed unorthodox. For some Key West residents, it led to a belief that Fado dabbled in voodoo or witchcraft, particularly when he showed up to baseball games for the Fighting Conchas to perform elaborate rituals on the fender of his car. They were, he said, for good luck. Fado did indeed have some good fortune. Naval forces withdrew their presence at a nearby base in the 1960s, damaging the local economy. Some in Key West, including Fado, soon turned to alternative methods to draw income. Key West was a gay mecca before the Dems decided to use it as a political platform. As far back as the 60s, the whole island is wacky. Right. Perhaps being a fire chief had been his childhood dream, but it couldn't keep him rolling in money. For that, he decided to take a second job as a drug dealer. As locals explained it, selling drugs circa the 1970s in Key West was not exactly stigmatised. Dealing marijuana and even cocaine was comparable to shrimping, and so Fato could be seen idling on the beach outside his fire station, trading drugs for money without any particular concern of being caught. But what may have been culturally acceptable in Key West at the time was still illegal. When the Florida governor, Ruben Askew, was informed of the island's indifference to the drug trade, he ordered an investigation. Eventually, with the involvement of the DEA, the Dade County Organized Crime Bureau, and the Florida Department of Criminal Law Enforcement, Operation Conch was born. Authorities had a willing informant in Titus Walters, who knew Fado was handling weed and cocaine. Walters, at the behest of the agencies, introduced Fado to undercover agent Larry Dollar. Walters told Fato that Dollar was his cousin and that he was looking to get some cocaine. Dollar offered Fato a gold diamond ring in exchange for an ounce of powder. At first, Fato demurred, saying he'd have to source the cocaine. And soon a new wrinkle appeared. Walters, the informant, was found dead in his bathtub, shot twice in the head. Headshot! Bum was a nickname, his real name was Arse. The autopsy would later find that somebody had injected Walters with heroin and drain cleaner. Oh, what a way to go! Fruit! A dealer named Bobby Marion Francis was later convicted of killing Walters. Incredibly, the violence didn't deter Fado from his illegal activity. He finally procured some cocaine for $1. Unbeknownst to Fado, he was photographed handing off the drugs to the agent. A few days later, on September 9, 1975, cars boxed him in at his home. He was arrested on counts of drug distribution along with 17 other defendants. Worse, the lime green Ford was towed away. The bum rush. Fado's situation appeared dire. Though he was free on bond, paid for by a fellow defendant, with another defendant, Manny James, serving as the attorney, his trial in February 1976 was remarkably uncomplicated. A jury found him guilty after 30 minutes of deliberation. He was guilty of 1 count of selling marijuana and 2 counts of selling cocaine. News accounts pegged Fato as looking at anywhere from 15 to 31 years in prison. Days later, Fato told his wife Esther that he had some business to conduct in Miami. With his city vehicle confiscated, he rented a Pontiac Le Mans and headed north on the US 1. A few weeks later, the Le Mans was found abandoned in Miami. There was no sign of Bum Fado. As the weeks turned into months, his evasive action and a possible lengthy prison sentence made him something of a local legend. The Where is Bum Fado t-shirts appeared, and one shop sold over 800 of them. Which reminds me, people, don't forget, AussieOverlawdmerch.com. As the months turned into years, singer Jimmy Buffett even donned a Fado shirt. Fado's motives for running were obvious. Where he ran to, however, was open for debate. Some believe he went to Spain, others to Central or South America. Or perhaps drug dealers dropped him somewhere in the middle of the ocean in a kind of an early retirement plan. I think he's wiped out because he knew too much, one local said in 1976. Probably dumped overboard from some shrimp boat. Some believed Fado's drug dealings was overstated. Tom Hambright, a Key West historian, told the Florida Keys keynoter in 2015 that Fado wasn't a player in the drug trade. Indeed, he had difficulty getting his hands on cocaine for the undercover agent. Andrew, I don't even want to know if that's a double entendre or not. Could at least say fudge like in A Christmas Story. The only real evidence that Fado may have successfully fled the country came in 1980 when reports emerged out of Costa Rica that he had been seen at the US Embassy renewing his passport. Authorities showed Fado's photo to residents in Golfita. 6 of them recognized Fado and believed he had been living in Costa Rica until '79, when the FBI began pressuring the country to oust American fugitives. Whether Fado was actually there or where he went next is unknown. In '86, his wife Esther successfully had her estranged husband declared legally dead so she could pursue insurance claims. But in Key West, his legend still persists. A musical based on his life premiered on the island in 22, and at the Key West Firehouse Museum, visitors can view his desk and a few of his uniforms. Once, a Key West resident reported seeing his attorney Manny James strolling down the street in the late 70s. He sported a Bumfardo t-shirt himself that was a little different from the others. Instead of asking where he is, it said, "He is alive and well in Spain." If he attracted cops, he was probably alligator bait. Quite possibly. But that is the story of the man known as Bumfardo. I thought you guys would get a little bit of a kick out of that. I just thought that was a little interesting thing for the day. I think we can avoid that. I don't think we need to talk about that one. What's that? Ever hear or see Super Haman? No clue. The story stunk. Oh. He joined a certain elderly mustached painter in Argentina. Second most venomous snake in the world found in a toddler's underwear drawer. Only in Australia. More to the point, only in Melbourne. Right here, around the corner. An Australian snake hunter discovered the second most venomous snake in the world in a toddler's underwear drawer. Mark Pelly, based in Melbourne, was asked to remove a 5-foot eastern brown snake from a 3-year-old's bedroom. I can't do snakes. Mum went to get some clothes for her son and found a large 5-foot brown snake instead, he wrote of the ordeal on Facebook. We figured out what happened. She carried in the folded washing yesterday. She was taking clothes off the line and the brown snake had crawled into it. Some people on Facebook asked how it was possible not to notice the reptile. How could you put folded clothes with a 5-foot snake amongst them into the drawers without realising? I mean, a 5-foot brown would have some weight, correct? Pelly replied that the creatures are actually lightweight and people tend to be oblivious to them. They weigh next to nothing and seriously this can happen to anyone, he said. I've seen people carry brown snakes in their handbag or otherwise shopping bags. One day this could happen to you. Look at this frickin' thing. Look at this frickin' thing! It was in a drawer! A 3-year-old's drawer! Ugh. Although, why does the 3-year-old have tradie underwear? Eastern browns, which are fast-moving, aggressive, and known for their bad temper, according to the Australian Geographic, are native to eastern and central Australia, as well as southern New Guinea, and can grow up to 7 feet in length. I hate when there's a little brown snake playing peekaboo. Ew. That's a whole lot of nope. It's a whole lot of nope.
I think I'll just get a picture of it once you've got it.
Oh, there it is. A brown snake in an underwear drawer. That's not something you see every day.
In a country that has everything that will kill you.
Isn't it?
Yep. Dude, you can see it going down. Why would you open the other
drawers? Yeah, there he is there.
Oh, fuck that. Nope. Fuck that. All right. That's some shit. Have the same underwear, wear it when I work out. Ew. Okay. Why is he playing with it? Some people are just weird like that. They don't have any sort of an issue with, like, messing around with snakes. I personally can't do it. Alright. There's only one way to find out. Man allegedly killed roommate, went back to sleep and brought some weed before others implored him to call 911. A Maryland man insisted that he shot his roommate in self-defense, but admitted he only called 911 after going back to sleep, buying some pot, and communicating with people who implored him to contact the authorities, according to court documents. Richard Benner, 38, is charged with manslaughter, assault in the first degree, assault in the second degree, and possession of a firearm as someone convicted of a violent felony. Show from Prince George's County Show. What? Anyway. In an emotional interview, the family of the victim, Dominic Scott Hayes, 27, said that they had not seen him. They had seen him on his birthday on January 8. His mother, Monique Scott, told WRC that there were no indicators of trouble. One of the funniest guys I knew, his sister said. According to court documents, Benner allegedly claimed he was sleeping in the living room on the second floor at 2 a.m. on Wednesday when he woke up at 5:30 a.m. to Scott Hayes making a lot of noise. Several minutes later, he yelled for the TV remote's location. Okay, so maybe he's a little bit drunk. Who cares? Personally, I think Texas is more the Australia of the US. We have plenty of nope ropes there. He allegedly claimed that he ignored him, then heard Scott Hayes walk behind the sofa demanding the remote's location. In documents, the defendant said that he took the blanket off his head to find Scott Hayes holding 2 large knives. Benner allegedly said he grabbed his own gun and pointed it at Scott Hayes. Hayes backed off at first, but then Benner would not then said Benner would not shoot, he allegedly told police. There's only one way to find out, he allegedly said, pointing the gun. He then allegedly opened fire on Scott Hayes when he approached, according to his reported statement. Benner allegedly asserted that Scott Hayes ran upstairs to his room on the 3rd floor. Having seen bullet holes but no blood, the defendant said he did not think he actually shot Hayes and said that he went back to sleep. Benner allegedly claimed that he drove to a friend's house in the community of Lanham, Maryland, to talk about what happened, then drove to a marijuana dispensary where he made approximately $50 worth of purchase and returned home to smoke. He gathered the fired bullet casings, flushed them down the toilet, and swept dust from the wall damage. Yeah, that sounds all above board, doesn't it? He allegedly said he told several people what happened, and they implored him to call 911. Police say they responded at approximately 12:30 p.m. on Wednesday. They found Scott Hayes dead from gunshot wounds. He was lying face down in his bedroom, a knife in each hand, and a third in his waistband. Okay, all right. So police affidavits giving it a little bit more legitimacy here. Okay. If I just offed someone and was drunk, I would probably take a name too. A nap. From the cops, anyone with information of the case should speak to the homicide unit. That's a bit funny. Alright, where are we? Alright guys, that will pretty much end the regular show. I'm going to watch the hearing just because I'm curious, but I'm probably not going to be commenting too much. So, for anyone that isn't aware, it's the last hearing that was held in the Montgomery trial. I do kind of want to follow this. I'm thinking about actually streaming it, but I'm also curious to hear exactly what happened in this hearing. So, to any of you that are not interested, thank you very much for being here. Very much appreciated. If you want to hit the like button on the way out. Otherwise, let's watch this and see exactly what happens.
Morning, everyone. So first, I apologize for having to appear remotely. Something came up on my end. I assure you it has nothing to do with the snow. I would not expect you to drive in.
And of course, the court audio is terrible.
So it's something that could not have been avoided, and I didn't want to cancel this hearing this morning. So I appreciate you.
Yes, the stream will be continuing. I may just have to do some work while I listen.
All right, I do see that there were a number of filings that came in over the weekend. I think, as you know, if something comes in over the weekend, I can't see it because it's not processed by our e-filing center. So I'm just seeing those new filings this morning. So I haven't had a chance to review them in their entirety, but I don't see... So
for those of you that didn't hear this story from earlier, just so you're aware, this is the trial of a man who allegedly beat his 5-year-old daughter to death. Hit her 3 times, she passed out and was unconscious. They didn't obtain any medical attention or anything like that, and she later died. Apparently he had full custody because the mother was a drug addict, and things are not going to get any better, basically. So it started out sounding good, now it sounds like Charlie Brown's parents. Oh, did I get yeeted? Seriously? Oh, for crying out loud. No, I can still see myself. Okay. Okay, alright.
Any of this preventing...
Yeah, no, the audio is terrible. See if I can boost it.
So it's my understanding, Attorney Smith, that Mr. Montgomery refused transport this morning. Is that accurate?
That's what I have been informed. I don't know if it's accurate or not. I have no idea.
Okay. But do you have any objection to proceeding?
I believe that the major motions are not being heard today, according to the scheduling thing. So as long as this is a final pretrial scheduling issue type of thing, I think we're fine.
Okay. All right. So let's just go ahead and go through the final pretrial form, and I have a couple of additional questions. So we have our dates for trial. And I have us going through,
Is the audio any better?
through
I
to
upped it to like
February 29th, starting
460%
the
in
6th for jury
YouTube, but I mean, I
selection,
can
pick and
potentially run it through my
go,
mic instead, up the volume.
and we've reserved up until the 29th. Attorney Ugadi, you still believe that that's an adequate period of time? I know you have a very lengthy witness list.
I do, Your Honor, with regards to if we are going to stay on track with these two trials together. The defendant's pleading yesterday was to sever two charges, which is to sever the the July 2019 assault from the homicide. If those were to be severed, then I don't know that we would take as long, because I think the very first trial, the assault trial, would be relatively short. We'd be probably done within a week. That being said, it may still behoove us to pick two separate juries if the court chooses to sever that. But regardless, if this matter does stay joined, I agree with you. I think that we will be able to get it done before the 29th.
Okay. Attorney Smith or Attorney, who's handling this hearing for the defense? Attorney Brooks, Attorney Smith?
On the scheduling issue, I think I have it.
Okay. So you agree, we're on track to complete by the 29th, correct?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. All right. And I know we have the state's witness list and the defense witness lists are both in. Attorney Ugadi, I want to address your witness list for a moment. Do you intend to call all of those witnesses?
We do not, Your Honor. At this time, we believe that there are a number of them that we're going to be striking later on today. I can think of at least 6 of the different private citizens on that list. There's also a smaller number of law enforcement that will be struck from that list. However, I will say a lot of those names that are listed are possible impeachment or rebuttal witnesses, depending on how the rest of the trial goes. We do anticipate that total witnesses, we're looking in the neighborhood of between 50 to 55.
Okay. And just in terms of the witness list, I understand needing to keep them on there so that they can be read to the potential jurors. But if we know they're not going to be called, then I do want you to take them off the list so that we're not asking potential jurors, do you know these people, if it's a non-issue?
Absolutely, Your Honor. That is something that we had discussed with opposing counsel I believe about 2 weeks ago, after a deposition with regards to the state kind of winnowing down a little bit of some of the
Sorry, I was muted, quite
list.
possibly.
And we agreed at that time that we would be happy to do that to the extent that we could, and that we would communicate that to counsel and to the court ahead of time. So we're not giving the jurors the same, list of witnesses that we have right now. Like I said, I think right now we can probably whittle it down by at least 6 or so for private citizens, and then probably there'll be a few keepers of the records that we can agree to, and a few of the law enforcement officers as well will come off.
Okay. I guess I'm not going to give you a deadline for the revised list because I'll give you and defense a chance to talk to each other. The only other thing I want to say about the witness list is this. In my experience, potential jurors will often say, well, I know somebody named John Smith, but I don't know if it's the same John Smith. And I noticed on your witness list, you don't have any, where they're from, what town, or so forth. It is oftentimes useful to know at least how old they are or some identifying information if you can. You don't have to put it on the witness list, but for purposes of jury selection, when we get to that point, someone will say, I think I went to high school with the John Smith, and then we find out that the John Smith on your list is 70, so it couldn't be that person. So having some information so that we can, make sure people don't have a conflict would be very useful.
I think we can definitely do that, Your Honor. In fact, defense counsel and we have already had a discussion about that. We also thought it would be useful to provide the prospective jurors with a written list of these particular witnesses' names. We think it's almost I would say very difficult for jurors to be able to remember this many names that are read off by yourself when going through the jury selection process, and be able to remember, well, I may have had a conflict with so-and-so out of the list of people that we have here. It may make more sense to give them that list of names as they walk in, certainly collect it from them before they leave the courthouse, whether they're selected as a juror or not selected as a juror, but to give them that additional time with the list, with the names, and with this identifying information that you're talking about, to ensure that we will not have a conflict between a potential juror and somebody that will be testifying.
All right, I don't have any objection to doing that. I think that will be fine. Maybe we hand it to them going into the courtroom and take it for them coming out of the courtroom. That might make sense.
Yes.
Okay. So right now you're talking though about realistically about 50 to 55 total witnesses.
I believe so, Your Honor. There's a few keepers in the record in there. When their certification of their records come in, we will hopefully not have to call them as witnesses. We'll be able to submit their certified records under 901, but other than that, I'd estimate in that ballpark, 50 to 55.
All right, thank you.
And Your Honor,
and
in that
yes.
regard, when the state and I talked about winnowing down the witness list, I think the state also indicated, to the extent possible, they would let us know essentially that 50 to 55, what they anticipate in their case in chief, because others would be impeachment rebuttal witnesses.
Oh, it sounded to me, and maybe, that 50 to 55 did not necessarily include impeachment rebuttal witnesses, but am I wrong about that?
No, you're correct, Your Honor. That 50 to 55 does not include impeachment or rebuttal witnesses
Right.
that may become relevant. That's basically the center of what the state anticipates for its case in chief.
Right. Oh, I see. Attorney Smith, you're saying that they're going to give you a separate list of ones that they anticipate that they would?
Yes.
Okay. Attorney Agati?
Your Honor, that's not exactly what the state has agreed to. The state has certainly agreed to winnow down the list, and the state has agreed to be able to provide more of the witnesses that we know we're definitely going to call in our reasonable time frame.
That's what
The
I'm
state
wondering,
is
Jason.
not obligated to tell the defendant anything about the witnesses he's going to call. The defendant is to be put on notice. The state doesn't mind doing this as a courtesy, but the state is not going to be ordered to do so. So we are happy to winnow down that list for the jury, and we are also happy to express to defense counsel some of the witnesses we definitely know we are calling. I'm not going to be providing the defendant with a trial plan of which witnesses are going to be called on which days in advance. If we come to a gentle person's agreement, as we always have in the past, Attorney Smith and I have always had this in the past, where we agree the day before testimony, usually about 5 o'clock the day before, who are the witnesses that the state is going to call. We will certainly be doing that. I look forward to doing that with them again. But with regards to providing what our trial plan is at this point, 3 weeks away, the state does not intend on doing that, nor does it have an obligation to do so.
All right. As I understand it, there's going to be that list of 50 to 55 that you would intend to expect to call in your case in chief. That list you are going to give to Attorney Smith. Is that accurate?
Yes, Your Honor, not necessarily.
Okay.
We are.
Okay, and then Attorney Smith, the balance of their witness lists are witnesses that they may or may not call during the course of the trial, including for impeachment and rebuttal. That's how I understand it. I think that is adequate, and that you'll continue to work together to, where you can, give notice as to what are the upcoming witnesses so everybody can be as prepared as possible.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
The conversation came up because, as you are aware, Attorney Brooks is a recent addition to the case. And with the almost 200 witnesses, we discussed the fact that preparation so far in advance would be quite scattered with that. So the state agreed to at least give us some inkling of those that were not expected to be called because they were essentially impeachment.
Okay, well, it sounds like that's everybody that's not on that, going to be on that 50 to 55 witness list, and I think that's adequate.
I agree. Either way is fine.
Okay, thank you. All right. There is no view. We do have a number of pending motions. I thought I was pretty much done with an order that was getting ready to go out. It looks like there's some responsive pleadings. As I said, only had a very brief chance to look at what was filed over the weekend. So I don't know if that's going to change.
And of course, I boomed the hell out of that. Everyone was asking for there were a few people asking for a TLDR, so I'm actually going to just give a quick rundown. This is the trial of Adam Montgomery. It is due to go to trial on the 6th of February. I'm looking at covering it, although it'll probably break my heart watching the whole thing. This is a gentleman that allegedly assaulted his daughter and then failed to obtain medical assistance for her. She later died. She was in his custody because the mother was a drug addict and she could not keep custody. I have the Superior Court complaints. So we've got purposely and unlawfully removed, concealed, or destroyed the corpse of Harmony Montgomery and any part thereof because they do not have a body. That's the same one. Believing in an official proceeding as defined in RSA 6 investigation pending on or about the instituted. He purposely attempted to induce or otherwise cause Kayla Montgomery to testify or inform falsely. So that's interfering with witnesses. They've got a charge against him basically because his wife has agreed to testify against him and he tried to coerce her into changing her story. And unfortunately, we also have second-degree murder, recklessly caused the death of Harmony Montgomery. Date of birth, 7th of June 2014. A person under the age of 13 years. She was 5 years old. Under the circumstances, manifesting an extreme indifference to the value of human life by repeatedly striking her on the head with a closed fist. From what I'm reading and gathering, it's his wife's testimony stating the assault, which is why they're trying to sever it. Because to me, it would be a pretty foregone conclusion that he's going to cop the assault charges. If it's then her testimony against him that is used to prove second-degree murder because they didn't obtain any medical assistance, yeah, this one's going to hurt. Pretty sad when you're in better hands with a drug addict. Unfortunately, I'm inclined to agree with you. Late, but under a freeze warning in Alabama. Oh, that sucks. So yeah, I'm just having a quick look through the various documents. There was a couple of motion in limines. He's been indicted properly, and right now we're just watching the last hearing that took place a few hours ago, actually. Just cleaning up some administrative stuff. He refused to attend the hearing, and they're basically just going through the motions at this point. Yeah, so I'm just having a look, see if there's any records or anything that's interesting to bring up. Is she being charged? I don't believe so. I would say more than likely she is getting immunity in exchange for testifying against her husband. Because she was not the one that actually injured the girl, and although an argument could be made for neglect, if she was fearful for her own safety and he took the daughter wherever, you know, I don't know the full facts of the case yet. I'm still looking into it, but this one looks like it's going to be one that will follow.
Change anything on my end. Some of them, the responsive pleadings were only due as of now, so I wouldn't have it. There were two that were outstanding. The other ones, I have to look to see whether there was a new responsive pleading where there had already been a motion of objection. In any event, depending on what these new filings are, I had expected to get you out an order on all of the other motions in limine this week, but I'll have to take a look at the new filings, but I will get orders out as quickly as I can.
As it turns out, it's not going to make any difference whether or not he's convicted of his daughter's death. He's already in federal custody, serving 60 years for gun charges.
The motion to sever, I guess the question, the question that I have on that is for the state, which is how quickly can you get a responsive pleading? I mean, it's definitely late in the sense that, you know, I'm going to need to focus on what is this new evidence that suggests that now, after over a year of everybody thinking that it would be joined, that it should be severed.
Your Honor, you should have a responsive pleading. I filed one last night. It took me a few hours to write it up. We received their pleading shortly before 2 o'clock, I believe, yesterday afternoon. And I had a pleading that was, I submitted into the system, I think roughly around 10 o'clock last night to get one in. I think, Your Honor, that is worth another conversation once you've had a chance to review both of the pleadings. In short, I won't do the whole argument right now, but we put forward that the information that's disclosed is not new information with regards to what the allegations are. It's been provided in discovery sometimes 14, sometimes 22 months ago. That being said, if the defendant is now reassessing his desire to have a motion to join, which is what he wanted before, which is what we've been planning on this entire time, if he wants to readdress that, I think he has the right to readdress that, and that the court should look at the factors that are enumerated in Brown as to whether or not joinder or severance are the proper thing in this case. The state is asserting that it is based upon those factors. I think we really take umbrage with the idea that this is new information with regards to the motion to join, but whether or not the defendant has a right to withdraw his motion for joinder, I think that he does. And that I think that needs to be a longer conversation with the court over whether this matter should stay joined or whether it should be severed.
Well, I guess, you know, part of
On the 2nd of January, he put in an application to have his allegedly secret Home Depot trip to buy lime and tools after his daughter's death to be kept hidden from the jury. He stands accused of the murder of... You know what, we'll just quickly read through this, because admittedly this is an administerial hearing. This is of more interest to me than it is going to be to any of you guys, so let's run through the actual story. Attorneys for a New Hampshire man accused of beating his 5-year-old daughter to death with his bare hands want several pieces of potential evidence excluded from his upcoming murder trial. Adam Montgomery, 33, stands accused of murder in the second degree for allegedly causing the death of Harmony Montgomery by repeatedly striking her in the head with a closed fist. The defendant has consistently maintained his innocence despite years-long search efforts. The girl has never been found. The defence's exclusionary requests, however, appear to offer some insight as to how the state may account for the lack of the child's body. Public Defender Carolyn Smith and James Brooks recently complained to the state's plans to introduce evidence that their client purchased two 40-pound bags of pelletized limestone from two separate Home Depots in late February 2020, according to court documents obtained by the union leader. The first purchase allegedly occurred at the store in Hooksett. The second allegedly occurred in Manchester. Each time they allege that he paid in cash. If he's already in federal, there's no way they're letting him stay in a county jail. I would not expect so. The second shopping trip to the popular hardware store included a markedly more substantial shopping list. In addition to the lime, the defendant allegedly purchased a metal-cutting diamond blade, a power grinder, and a lithium-ion battery and charger for the tool. The defense claims the state will explicitly attempt to tie at least some of those purchases to the treatment of the presumed dead girl's body. By way of testimony from Kayla Montgomery, the defendant's estranged wife, Kayla, according to the defense, will likely testify her husband used the lime to tamper with her remains, but will remain agnostic about the source of the lime or whether or not the power tool was used at all. There is no evidence that lime is such a unique purchase that would connect the purchases to the Montgomerys. The police did not check the other hardware stores, agricultural stores, or other locations that may have sold lime. Regardless of her potential testimony, Kayla Montgomery is believed to be a key witness for the state in the forthcoming murder trial. An allegation concerning the lime is not entirely new. Early this year, she told investigators that her husband was responsible for the death of the girl who was briefly her stepdaughter. At the time of the alleged murder, the Montgomery family was living out of a car. Adam Montgomery grew increasingly angry at the young girl over having bathroom accidents in the vehicle. His rage toward his daughter culminated on December 7, 2019, Kayla told investigators. On that day, he struck Harmony in the face/head on 3 separate occasions because she had a bathroom accident. This happened while Adam was driving the vehicle. Kayla described it that Harmony was in the rear seat on the passenger side And while Adam was driving, he turned his body and delivered sets of 3 to 4 blows with a closed fist to Harmony's face or head on 3 separate occasions over the course of a few minutes. Kayla stated that after the final blow, he said words to the effect that he felt or heard something when he hit her. I'm just going to turn the camera off for a second. Everything's fine. All good. In no way a father raging internally. I think I really hurt her this time, he allegedly said after the attack. His wife recalled, I think I did something. After the violence, Kayla Montgomery told investigators the family returned to the parking lot of an apartment complex where they had consistently been parking the Chrysler Sebring since being evicted. Later, she said they realised the girl was dead and Adam Montgomery placed her body into a red and black Under Armour duffel bag. You mother... Sorry. According to Kayla, her husband kept Harmony Montgomery's body in the duffel bag and moved it around for several months. In the immediate aftermath of her death, Kayla told investigators her husband occasionally kept the daughter's body outside in the snow to slow down the process of decomposition. Yeah, she's getting immunity for testifying. And as far as I'm concerned, she can rot in hell as well. For months, Kayla told investigators her husband moved the girl's remains around, even keeping her in a walk-in freezer of a restaurant where he worked as a dishwasher and a cook. Eventually, the estranged wife said Adam Montgomery used lime to try and dissolve some of her frozen body while squishing her flesh, and how she helped cut away the child's clothes to make the body fit inside a tote bag bearing the logo of a Catholic maternity hospital. The defense also recently moved to have a December 31, 2021 interaction between Adam and police barred from his trial. We need to find out where she is to make sure she's okay, an officer tells the defendant. Right now, I have nothing to say to you guys, Adam replied. The girl was only reported missing by her mother in December of 21. Crystal Sorey had custody of her daughter on and off for years between 2014 and 2018 due to substantial abuse issues. Adam Montgomery had been in jail since January 22 for allegedly assaulting his daughter. He has since been charged, tried, and convicted of several gun-related crimes. Amid the investigation into the girl's disappearance, Kayla Montgomery was charged with fraud for continuing to collect public benefits even after she was no longer alive. She was also later charged with lying to a grand jury. As part of her plea deal in those cases, the defendant's wife will testify against him in his trial slated to begin on February 6th at Hillsborough County Superior Court. This is going to be rough, people. This is going to be rough. And as bad as it sounds, it's no consolation to me that this of shit is already behind bars for the next 60 years. I want to know what her plea deal is. Stepmom sentenced for lying to grand jury about working at donut shop on day she claimed to see Harmony Montgomery for the last time. So she lied and said she was at work. Asked a burning question, what the fuck took so long to go to trial? Probably they didn't want to interfere with the gun charge trial. Kayla Montgomery, 32, the stepmother of suspected murder victim Harmony 5, was sentenced in prison on Friday on perjury charges. Punishment ranged from 3.5 to 7 years in prison, according to the Associated Press. 1.5 years was suspended from the minimum, and she received credit for time served. For her part, she agreed to cooperate in the second-degree murder case against her estranged husband, Adam, who was accused of beating Harmony to death. Police in Manchester, New Hampshire, announced in January that Harmony had disappeared at some time in late 2019, but she'd only been reported missing recently. They revised the timeline to her last known whereabouts from October 2019 to November or December of 2019. Authorities say that Kayla Montgomery lied to a grand jury about working at a donut shop on 30th of November 2019. She claimed to have last seen her stepdaughter on that day. Prosecutors dropped related charges against her for allegedly lying to collect welfare benefits. They also dropped charges that she had received stolen guns. Adam Montgomery stands accused of killing his daughter by repeatedly striking her to the head with a closed fist. Adam Montgomery was charged with one count of falsifying physical evidence by allegedly destroying evidence when he hid or destroyed his daughter's body to prevent the investigation from moving forward. Abuse of a corpse for allegedly, purportedly, and unlawfully moving or concealing the corpse of Harmony Montgomery or any part thereof. And tampering with a witness for allegedly attempting to have his wife falsely testify. The lack of knowledge as to Harmony's whereabouts made its way into law enforcement's radar after the alarm was raised by her biological mother, who repeatedly lost and regained custody of her daughter due to substance abuse problems throughout the girl's short life. Harmony was apparently last enrolled into school in Massachusetts, Police Chief Alan Aldenberg said. In her initial review, Kayla Montgomery told Manchester police investigators that she'd not seen Harmony since a morning in late November or early December while she was getting ready for work. That morning, Kayla Montgomery allegedly told police her husband Adam said he was taking her daughter to stay with her mother. The girl's mother never saw her daughter again after the alleged trip. Before charging the father with killing his daughter, authorities declared the child dead based on numerous leads, including biological evidence. They have yet to find her body, and at this point, I dare say they won't be. They believe she was murdered in Manchester in December 2019. No, look, I can understand why they're dropping the charges against the wife. Because without a body, more than likely the evidence they have that she's even dead is circumstantial. So I would say that they are making a deal with the devil to nail the fucker to the wall. Adam Montgomery was previously hit with gun charges and abuse for allegedly striking his daughter. He had allegedly told his uncle Kevin Montgomery that he had violently abused the girl. I bashed her around the house, he reportedly said. So this bitch stood around for months while he attacked this poor little thing. Like I said, this trial's going to be rough. And you know what? I can probably watch the rest of that hearing later. I'm pretty sure the rest of it's going to be fairly innocuous, really. I mean, the outcome of the hearing was that they've refused to sever the assault and murder charges. It's going to be heard as one, starting on February 6th. Jury selection will be interesting, because how the hell do you find anybody that's not going to be biased against this bastard for what he did? But all I'll say is, for this one, just make sure you know... Yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I got to get some stuff done on it that I can't do in front of the computer, so... Anyway, as always, please remember, you are not a piece of shit. You do have value and do contribute to society, especially when you hit that like button for me, double check whether or not you're still subscribed. Maybe think about sharing the video out, see whether or not, if you know anyone that might be interested in the Law, News and Laughter podcast. And as always, I will catch you all on the flip side. Stay healthy, wealthy, wise, people. And I'll see you all back here tomorrow. Fuck this shit. I'm out.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.